The Kordax Empire claimed they respected humans, but their actions told a different story. When Lieutenant Mason Hale was chosen for a special mission on planet Derven 6, he knew something wasn't right. There were no real details, just vague orders and fake smiles. The ship dropped him from orbit in a one-man pod and vanished from the sky. All he had was a basic survival pack and a short energy blade, not nearly enough for a jungle known to be home to the Varalk beast, a creature so dangerous it had wiped out entire squads of alien elites. The Kordax called it a scouting operation, but Mason saw the truth. It was a death sentence. To them, he was just a test subject, a tool they didn't need anymore. As the dense, alien jungle closed around him, filled with sounds that didn't belong on any peaceful world, Mason didn't panic. He adjusted his gear, scanned the terrain, and started walking. If they wanted him dead, they should have tried harder. Because Mason wasn't just another human. He had survived Earth's deadlands, outsmarted machines during the AI rebellion, and learned to fight before he could drive. Now the jungle would learn what kind of mistake the Kordax had made. The jungle of Derven 6 was not just dangerous, it was alive in ways Mason had never seen before. Every step felt like it echoed through 1,000 hidden ears, and every shadow moved like it had purpose. Giant insects with crystal shells climbed tree trunks as thick as houses, while glowing vines shifted ever so slightly, as if watching him. But none of that compared to the real threat, the Varalk beast. It didn't hunt with noise or brute force. It waited, learned, and stalked from the silence. Mason found claw marks on stone, deep tracks in the mud, and once, a shredded Kordax helmet filled with dried blood. Instead of fear, he felt focus. Each night, he built traps from broken branches and used leftover Kordax tech to make sensors. He used mud to cover his scent and slept high in trees where the ground monsters couldn't climb. The jungle tried to confuse him, but he adapted. Days passed with no direct sight of the beast, but Mason knew it was near. Once, he caught a glimpse of yellow eyes in the dark, staring at him, not with hunger, but with curiosity. That's when Mason realized this wasn't just a fight to survive, it was a test between two predators, and only one would earn the jungle's respect. On the 12th night, while rain poured over the jungle like falling glass, Mason sat near a small cave behind a waterfall, fireless and still, listening to the sounds vanish around him. That silence meant only one thing: the Varalk beast was close. He didn't move. He didn't reach for a weapon. He just waited, heart steady, breath calm. Then it appeared, stepping through the curtain of water like a shadow made real. Towering muscles coiled beneath scale and fur, glowing eyes locked directly onto his. For a full minute, neither moved. No growl, no attack, just cold, steady eye contact. Mason knew running was pointless and fighting even worse. So instead, he slowly reached into his satchel and pulled out half of his dried rations, setting them between them before leaning back. The beast looked down at the offering, then at him, and without warning, it sat. The moment didn't feel like a victory, it felt like a choice had been made. Mason didn't smile, didn't celebrate. He just nodded once, understanding that the rules of survival had changed. He was no longer prey. Something deep, ancient, and powerful had acknowledged him. The jungle didn't see a human anymore. It saw something equal. Something new. 3 weeks after Mason was dropped into the jungle and marked as lost, the Kordax base on Derven 6 picked up movement from the Forbidden Zone, a direction no soldier dared approach. Alarms rang softly, more out of confusion than fear, as a lone figure appeared at the edge of the perimeter, walking through thick mist with slow, deliberate steps. It was Mason, covered in dirt, scars on his arms, his uniform torn, but his posture calm like a man returning from a quiet walk. Behind him, the jungle trembled as something massive moved through the trees. Kordax soldiers aimed their weapons instantly, but froze when they saw the truth: Mason wasn't alone. Towering behind him was the Varalk beast, calm, alert, and held by a simple rope tied around its armored neck. The creature didn't snarl or resist. It followed like a trained predator, obeying its leader. Mason didn't flinch under their shocked stares. He walked past them, straight toward the command tent, ignoring their whispers. Inside, generals who had already marked him dead stood in silence as the beast waited outside like a guardian. Mason dropped his gear on the floor and spoke only once. "You sent me to die. I came back with your nightmare." No one dared speak. The message was clear. The human they discarded had returned with power the Codex couldn't control. Mason didn't ask for revenge or rank he didn't need to. He had done what no alien, no machine, no empire could do. He had earned the respect of a monster born to kill, and with it, rewritten how the galaxy would see his species. The Codex thought they were testing a tool. But what they created instead was something far more dangerous, a human with a leash and the will to use it. After Mason's return, the entire Codex empire shifted. Whispers of the human who tamed the untamable spread across military channels and political circles faster than official reports. Mason never spoke much about what happened in the jungle, and no one dared push him for answers. The Varalk beast, once feared as an unstoppable killer, now stood guard beside him during every meeting, every briefing. It responded to his gestures, his voice, and even his moods. Other Codex officers avoided its eyes, knowing one wrong move could bring death before they blinked. Mason didn't make threats he didn't need to. His silence held more weight than their loudest orders. Soon, other species in the Intergalactic Council took notice. They watched the Codex grow quiet when humans entered the room. They saw the same aliens who once mocked Earth now seek human opinions before making decisions. One by one, other empires began to reconsider how they viewed humanity. The stories grew. Some claimed Mason spoke to the beast in dreams. Others said he never truly left the jungle, that a part of it lived inside him now. Whatever the truth, one thing was certain: no one underestimated humans anymore. When Earth sent ambassadors, they were received with full honors. When humans requested alliance terms, they were granted without debate. Mason returned to Earth only once, not for rest, but to train others, not to tame monsters, but to teach how to earn their respect. His story became legend, taught in alien academies not as a warning, but as a turning point in galactic history. The Codex never admitted their mistake publicly, but behind closed doors, they rewrote entire doctrines based on one human's survival. And now, whenever a human walked into a council hall, the room didn't just listen, they paused, remembered, and adjusted their tone. Because after Mason Hale, the galaxy had learned a truth it could no longer ignore. Humans didn't conquer with fleets or numbers. They changed the balance with grit, patience, and a quiet, unstoppable will. The jungle had tested one man. The galaxy paid attention to what came out. And from that day on, when humans spoke, even monsters listened.